Welcome to today's video, Understanding the Bible verse Psalm 23 verse 1. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Psalm 23 is one of the most well-known and cherished passages in the Bible, written by King David. David, a former shepherd himself, understood the relationship between a shepherd and his flock. As a shepherd, he led, protected, and provided for his sheep. So, in this psalm, David speaks from a place of personal experience, comparing God's care for his people to the role of a shepherd. In ancient Israel, shepherds were not just caretakers but were deeply committed to the well-being of their sheep, risking their own safety to guard them from harm. David wrote this psalm as a reflection of his confidence in God's guidance, provision, and protection throughout his life, even during times of trouble. Psalm 23 verse 1 begins with a profound declaration, "The Lord is my shepherd." This metaphor sets the tone for the entire psalm. It highlights a close, personal relationship between God and his people. A shepherd knows each sheep individually, tends to them with care, and is constantly watching over them. When David calls God his shepherd, he is expressing complete trust in God's ability to guide him, provide for him, and protect him. When David says, "I shall not want," he is proclaiming that, with God as his shepherd, he lacks nothing. The word want here doesn't refer to desires but to needs. David is confident that with God leading him, he will have everything necessary for life. The shepherd provides food, water, safety, and rest for the sheep, everything it needs to survive and thrive. David is acknowledging that God does the same for him. Just as a shepherd ensures the well-being of his sheep, God ensures that his children are provided for. It doesn't mean that life will be free of challenges or suffering, but it means that God will sustain us through whatever we face. David is expressing a deep assurance that God's care is more than sufficient, and he has no fear of being left without help or provision. This verse also carries an even deeper spiritual meaning. The word shepherd in biblical times symbolized leadership, care, and authority. For Christians, Jesus later identifies himself as the Good Shepherd in the New Testament, which draws a direct line from Psalm 23 to Christ's ministry. The idea of lacking nothing doesn't just mean physical provision, but also spiritual fulfillment. In Christ, we have everything we need for our spiritual lives. He nourishes our souls, gives us rest, leads us through life's difficulties, and offers eternal salvation. There is no greater need for us than to be spiritually connected to God, and this psalm reassures us that He is always present to meet that need. Psalm 23 verse 1 teaches us to trust in God's provision and guidance in every aspect of our lives. In times of uncertainty, when we might feel anxious or fearful about the future, this verse reminds us that God is like a shepherd. He knows what we need before we even ask. It encourages us to live with a sense of peace, trusting that God will take care of us, no matter the situation. Practically, this can mean taking time to pause and reflect on how God has provided for you in the past. It could be through a job, family, or an unexpected blessing that arrived at just the right time. When we recognize God as our shepherd, we learn to surrender our worries to Him and trust that He is working things out for our good. It also challenges us to find contentment in what we have, trusting that God knows what is best for us, and that we don't need to constantly strive or worry about what we lack. God will provide what we need in His time and His way. This verse also invites us to rest in God's care. In a world that often pushes us to do more and be more, it is comforting to know that God's provision is sufficient. We can rely on Him to meet our needs, both physical and spiritual, and find peace in His presence, knowing He is our shepherd. If you found today's video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it with someone who might need encouragement, and leave a comment with your thoughts or questions. May the Lord bless you and guide you as you trust Him to be your shepherd.